Okay, we played this earlier. I've talked about it. I just have to play it again because this was Trump's answer to a reporter's question about rising inflation numbers today.
The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now.
Not only did Trump actually utter the words, "I love the inflation," but he also said that the U.S. has been secretly taking out millions of barrels of oil without Iran's knowledge, all of which is big if true. And it'd be so great if someone from the Trump administration could explain the whole "I love inflation" thing and also the whole taking barrels of oil thing. Well, it just so happened that a few cabinet officials, including Energy Secretary Chris Wright, were testifying today on Capitol Hill right after Trump said those things. I'm sure they were delighted by that. And here's how that went.
Do you feel like your positions and policy statements are in line with President Trump?
Yes, I hope so.
Do you love inflation?
I love ending Iran's ability to have a nuclear weapon. I think that's existential.
Thank you.
For
that
our
was
future.
not my question. Do you love inflation, yes or no?
I love ending Iran's.
That is not my question. Do you love inflation, yes or no?
No, I would prefer lower inflation.
You would prefer low inflation. Do you know that your boss, essentially President Trump, just stated that he loved inflation?
He's an entertaining, hyperbolic guy who's done tremendous leadership and on balance is driving inflation down.
So it sounds like you were unaware that the President Trump just mentioned that he loved inflation. And I certainly don't want to get you in trouble with your boss, but it sounds like you don't love inflation, but he does. Mr. Chair, if I may, can I play some audio from some comments that President Trump made in the Oval Office? Okay.
The numbers were great.
I don't think
we've heard this. I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out
Let's suspend that,
barrels
please.
of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran, until right now.
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you didn't know about this either. So why would the United States be taking out millions of barrels of oil from Iran?
Well, it's essential that we prevent oil sales from generating revenue for Iran to spend to develop nuclear weapons and oppress
Mr. Secretary, I understand this might be an uncomfortable line of questioning and you don't want to do it, but you are not answering my question. So I'm going to ask you again, and I'm going to hope that you will answer it honestly. Did you know that the United States was taking millions of gallons of oil from Iran?
I'm unaware.
So do you think that the president is lying based on the audio that you just heard? And I will send it to you in case you say you didn't hear it.
Oh, no, I do not think the president's lying. I think the president's talking casually about our efforts to stop the flow of Iranian oil.
And war is casual? Do you think that it is appropriate to talk casually about war?
I think you talk to all different audiences and you talk in all different styles. But I don't have any serious objection to what he said.
I mean, that is what having your butt handed to you in a hearing looks like, everyone. Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Emilia Sykes of Ohio, who you just saw kept a straight face while she was questioning the Secretary of Energy. Okay, Trump said, I love talking about this because I think it's helpful for people to understand how this works. He said, "I love the inflation," just a couple of hours before you questioned Secretary Wright. I'm sure you had a different set of questions you were preparing for him. What made you focus on this one?
Well, we hear so much about the cost of living from gas and groceries and housing and health care back at home and across the country. And it just seemed a ripe opportunity to direct a very clear yes or no question to the Secretary of Energy. Energy costs are rising all over the country, including in my district, Ohio's 13th. And I wanted to hear directly from the Secretary. Did he agree with President Trump's terminology of loving inflation? And he said no, as I assume he would, as most Americans are not too keen on inflation and increased costs. And you saw what happened next.
If anybody wonders if law degrees can come in handy for elected office, they can watch that exchange. Now, there was another notable part of your questioning is when Wright seemed completely unaware that Trump had claimed that the U.S. military had helped 100 million barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, despite him being, of course, the energy secretary. I would note he should know that sort of thing and what was said by the president. According to the New York Times, Trump was referring to previously reported efforts by the U.S. military to help commercial ships through the Strait. But what do you make of the fact that Wright had no idea what you were talking about? And tell people watching what's actually going on with this.
Well, we heard the secretary dodge questions about grants and funding opportunities and ways to lower costs for hours. And, you know, hearing that stunning admission from the president that they had secretly taken millions of barrels of crude oil from Iran was stunning, because where is the oil? Is it being sold? Why are gas prices still so high if you have all of this reserve? And so I would have expected the secretary to know exactly where these barrels are. But apparently, just as President Trump said, no one knew it, including Iran in that moment, and neither did Secretary Wright.
What did you make of, I mean, in all seriousness, it's like sometimes you watch them and it's ludicrous, and you watch them try to defend Trump's statements and it's embarrassing and hard to watch. He's the energy secretary. He's supposed to know about oil markets. He has he has a lot under his purview. What did you make of his answers, his inability to answer any of them, his, I guess, fealty and fear of Trump?
Well, I started my questioning around meritocracy because they were talking about programs that encouraged women and people of color as being improper. And he then quoted MLK. And I said, you know, this is out of your league. This is not part of your expertise. But then to have an exchange in that way and then show how unprepared and illogical and reckless they're behaving. There is not a meritocracy in this administration. We're only seeing the folks who are the most loyal to the president rise, and they can't answer simple questions like, where are millions of barrels of oil that have been confiscated from Iran? You would expect the Secretary of Energy to know the answer to that question. And if, in fact, they were working on merit and skill and logic and intelligence, he would have known it, but they're not, and so that's why he could not.
I don't have much time left, but maybe this is a warning to them, but what else do you want to know from this administration?
I want to know where the Epstein files are.
Well,
and I want to know when they're going to lower costs, too.
Well, those are very important things to question, and I fear for the next person you have to question at a hearing, but I will look forward to watching it. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it.